We can work from home. Is it good?
Yep.
Ooh. So it's on.
It is.
Work from home. Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, and it's the 52nd fast count. It's been a year of fast counts. Actually, it's been slightly over a year because we missed 1 week for Christmas. It's all a bit confusing, but last week was the trio anniversary. Pachidi had to fill in because I was sick, and, you know, I'm meant to be doing something special and I've had no time to plan for it. So what better way to celebrate, I guess, than with all the... Can you pass me that hat? That birthday hat? It's Miles. Go, Phil. Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you. There we go. That'll do. Did Ross use this?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the fast count. First, let's start off with all of this week's WWE news. Now, try not to get too excited, lads and lasses, but we're kicking off with a double header of Meltzer. It's double Meltzer! Phil, hit the thing! Oh my God! Davey M, we love him here at the Fast Count. He does provide very, very good news sources, but man, we've never had double Meltzers before. 10 stars. First bit of news concerns Seth Rollins and his status for WrestleMania. Will he compete at WrestleMania? Will he be too injured and sore to compete at WrestleMania? That's really bad. He's actually hurt his knee pretty badly. Will he be too injured to wrestle at WrestleMania? Apparently not. Meltzer seems to indicate that Rollins could be good for Mania. He is looking likely to still wrestle, and you can only assume that his match with Triple H is still on the cards rather than them change that up. So that should be good. Jack, what's the other bit of Meltzer news, you ask? Well, don't worry about that. Meltzer also has another big bit of news concerning a big surprise that Vince has announced for WrestleMania some time ago, and we've all kind of forgotten about it. Vince said there's going to be a big surprise. Someone tweeted Meltzer saying, what is the surprise? Meltzer's guessed that, and a guess from Meltzer is usually more informed than a guess from someone else, which is what makes this news. He's guessed that it could be the return of Hulk Hogan. But Jack, I hear you ask, wasn't he racist that time? Yeah. This is a really weird bit of news now. The Rock is producing a film about Paige and the Knight family and their life in wrestling as a wrestling family and Paige's rise to the WWE. That's weird, isn't it? Like, The Rock watched that documentary, you know, that Channel 4 documentary a little while ago about Paige and about the Knights, about Soraya Bevis, get the Bevs in. I've met her and that's not good. Like, what if she's cross? As if she watches Fast Count.
She's at the weekend.
She's here at the weekend. Anyway, I better continue reporting the news, but thanks for that. The Rock he's confirmed that he'll be the producer on this. The director's Stephen Merchant, for you Americans out there. Oh no, he's big in America, isn't he? But he's the baddie from Portal 2, and Ricky Gervais's mate. And a really, good actor and director as well. So Stephen Merchant's the director. Nick Frost, aka the fat one from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, he'll be playing her dad, we believe. Cersei from Game of Thrones is playing her mother. It's just the most baffling news story. It's like that episode of South Park where they lampoon how Family Guy make episodes and jokes where they say the manatees take a ball from the idea spit, and it's just all like random going on. It's crazy. Isn't news wonderful? And finally, could WWE be planning another draft just a year after the first one? According to Brian Alvarez, he believes that WWE are indeed planning another draft sometime after WrestleMania and before SummerSlam. Is this good? Is this bad? It seems very, very soon. Usually what WWE have done in the past is had the big draft and then a few big moves on draft, special little events that make them feel huge and significant they've waited a few years until the next draft. But this time, the draft could be literally like a year after. Could the draft become an annual thing? And do we want it to become an annual thing? We'll wait and see what happens. Hold on to your horses. Let's get down and dirty with all the news from elsewhere in the wacky world of professional wrestling. And where better to start than in TNA, because Bobby Lashley, channeling the spirit of Chris Jericho back in the early 2000s in his feud with Chris Benoit, has said that he will fight Brock Lesnar anywhere. He'll fight him in a ring, in an MMA cage, or on the streets. Ooh, I wouldn't enjoy a street fight against Brock Lesnar. Neither did Dean Ambrose last year in that disappointing match at Mania. But apart from a legit street fight, Lashley wants Lesnar anywhere. It's just like when Jericho was like, I will fight Chris Benoit on a boat and fight him as a goat and all the rest of it. I gave up on that impersonation halfway through and I realised it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, Lashley was talking to Sports Illustrated. What would you make of that? Do you want to see them wrestle? Do you want to see them fight? In the expert MMA opinion of Joe Hendry, local hero, he says that that Lesnar would destroy Lashley pretty easily. And you've probably got to agree. Sticking with TNA, this week on Impact Wrestling, there's been a major heel turn towards the top of the card. Former champion Eddie Edwards had his rematch with Bobby Lashley, his last shot at Lashley's TNA Heavyweight Championship, and he lost thanks to the interference and heel turn of his old tag partner Davey Richards. Ooh. This is big news because it could be the start of one of the major feuds of the year, certainly in TNA. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards feuded back in Ring of Honor, but I think that was more of a friendly rivalry, and then Eddie Edwards started to go off the deep end. This time Eddie is the face, Davey is the heel. That seems to be a much more natural alignment. Richards is a lot harsher and stiffer, and Edwards is more of like the plucky, lovable babyface. So we'll see how this one goes, and hopefully it's really good. And finally, last week saw New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Beginning in Sapporo show, in which the major big match was Minoru Suzuki versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Okada retained again in what many are calling a match of the year candidate, but then others are calling a disappointing, boring, slow match. It's one of the most polarizing matches of the year so far, and will probably be one of the most polarizing matches of the year entirely. It was a lot of legwork from Suzuki. He really worked the leg. Okada sold a lot. Some people have criticised him for then forgetting to sell or for the match picking up too much, but they kind of painted themselves into a corner with that selling. Personally, I don't think it was a match of the year candidate, but I don't think it was as bad as others are saying as well. I think it was firmly sort of thumbs up to middling. It was a good main event match, nothing too special. Okada retained, and there is New Beginning in Osaka this weekend, which sees Will Ospreay take on Shibata. For the sake of WCPW, let's hope that Ospreay doesn't get his face kicked off, because kind of need him, you know, for wrestling and that. And finally, let's round things off with all of this week's takeaways, although I've kind of waffled a little bit in this video and I've kind of droned on and on and on. So let's just stick with the one takeaway, as I sometimes do, and it concerns this weekend's big WWE pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. I've called it that in videos all week and I've not laughed once, and this time. But yes, it is Elimination Chamber this weekend. Do you think it'll be a good show, a bad show, middling show? I think it's going to be kind of the opposite of the Royal Rumble. I think that whereas the Royal Rumble, the undercard was really strong and the main event disappointed a lot of people, I think it's going to be the other way around. I think the undercard could be a bit disappointing, and I think that the main event could be absolutely fantastic. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And there's nothing else more to say. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Find me on Twitter at JackTheJobber, and do follow me, please. I'm starting to lag behind Ross, and I want to hit 50k because I'm deeply insecure, and it'll make me feel good about myself for a little bit. Anyway, I'll see you soon.